mate.
Mehe me kataa e te whānau katoa, te whiwhikai whakaora i a rātau ki raro i ngā tikanga o te iwi, katahi ka tū ko te kai tai tuarā.
Because of the recession now, there seems to be a resurgence of gardens in Māoridom. You know, money's lacking at the moment, so with Māoris having a lot of land now, they seem to be utilising it to go back to vegetable gardens to help our people just live a little bit better. When we planted the plants, they were about so high. Within 4 weeks of planting them, we were actually eating silver beet, bok choy, rocket, lettuce. So it didn't take long before we were eating out of our garden.
Last year, there was some concern by members of the marae how much waste we were sending to the landfill. Auckland City Council came and did an audit of our rubbish and came back with a report, and from that report 75% of our waste was organic. So the council sent me on a course, it's called Create Your Own Eden, and it taught me some methods of composting which I brought back to the marae, and one of the methods of composting which we do in the kitchen is bokashi. In the yellow bin, you're not to put any liquids, bones or shells. Also no citrus. And then all meat bones. No meat bones are to go into the bokashi bin. All the food in here gets given out to owners, you know, to the dog owners, namely my dog. And no shells. All the shells are placed on the nursery paths because they can't go into the bin as opposed to throwing them into the skip. So they're all over the whenua and they get crushed by our quad bikes. They go back and forth. So that's one way of dealing with our shells. Once a bin is full of food, you sprinkle it with 2 cups of bokashi. So this is actually malt and bran, which is fermented with EM juice, which is short for effective microorganisms. It was actually developed in Japan, and it's quite cheap. Yeah, and so what it actually does, it preserves the food. So you actually get a pickling as opposed to composting, your normal composting, it decays and breaks down, so all those good nutrients are gone, whereas opposed to this system, it preserves those good nutrients. And then it's placed into this bin here. And as you can see, it's full of food. Then you close the bin up. Because it's airless composting, that's why we've got these bungee cords to keep it tight and airless. Yeah, and then it's closed up. All our ringawera have been trained in this composting method, and once the bin is full, they take it to the waste station. The bin sits here for 2 weeks, and while it's sitting here, we drain off the juice, which is used for fertiliser for the garden. And how we do it, we pull the bin forward, open the tap, right, and you'll see the juice coming out. Yeah, that's bokashi. I drain these off every 2 days. You have to drain them off, or it smells. To dilute the fertiliser, it's 1 ml per litre. So it's very strong. We've drained off about 1 litre of bokashi, and I'll take this over to my brother. But what he doesn't use, it can be poured down sinks and drains. It actually cleans the biomass off the pipes. So we don't really use it all in the garden. I mean, that's 1,000 litres of water that's needed to dilute this. So.
Kia ora, sis. Okay, from the process that my sister has shown you through the whare kai, I get this juice and I'll put it in see how much we get. Then I can gauge how much I need to put in our sprayer that sprays the native plants and all the vegetables. So you've got to be careful how you use it. So we've got 1.5 litres here. And then I'll measure it out. I use my eyes, I sort of know what I'm doing. So that's about 20 mils there, and then I'll just mix in about, fill this up with 20 litres of water, and that suffice. Then I go around to the vegetables or my nursery over here and give the plants a bit of a feed. It doesn't matter if it goes down into the moana because it's biodegradable, so it's good for the water too. Okay, now after we've got all our pakashi juice out, what we do is that we make these gardens here. So we built it in a box form, and it just makes us easier so that we can split the garden each time and just fill it up each time. Eventually, these gardens are going to run right down to the whenua. Okay, so we lay the cardboard down first, and the residue of all the food goes into these gardens. We mix it up like this. So we're not wasting anything that's coming out of our marae. And then after that process, all I do is grab a wheelbarrow and then cover the food with soil. And just slowly cover it over. We leave it sitting for 2 weeks, and then we start planting after that. Okay, so we lay the cardboard down first, and then the pakashi residue of the food goes on top of that, and then we bury it with any soil you'll have, because it'll break it down, clay, whatever, and then leave it for 2 weeks, and then start planting. We started planting our garden here. This has been here for about 7 weeks. I couldn't believe that this would happen. I just had to try it myself, so I tried it, and this is the end product of our work.
Ko oti te whānau o te marae o rākei, te whakarite māhere pokashi, paku nei mo ngā kaumātua. Ka mutu, kei te whakatipu hua whenua, kia ora tau māra.
Okay, this is a smaller version of the pakashi system that we've got for our kaumātuas. There's the juice here, like before. It's a 2-box system, so the juice is here, and then in here we have our kai. A lot of sandflies in it, but that helps it break down. So this is what we use for our kaumātuas so that they can do this for their gardens around the back of their whares. So there's 2 types. There's a big bin like this and this one.
Nō reira e te iwi kau e wariwari te whakatauki pēnei nā. He whakatauki tuku iho. Tama tū, tama ora, tama noho, tama mate.
I'm trying to help the future tamariki that are coming through to be able to look after themselves. And that's my main thing about food security and the health of our people.
Nā iwi e, mau mai te oranga, ko tatu tino ka hā. Te wano te whakapapa. Tama tū, tama ora, tama noho, tama mate. Tama tū, tama ora, tama noho, tama mate.
He mea tau toko na te manga. Kai pāho.